The Explorer by Katherine Rundell, the First Chapter Friday Read Aloud video with Word Nerd. Today, as you listen, play along. Watch for the story quote that will appear on screen. Write it down, word by word, and then follow the directions given to you by your teacher. Make sure you stay all the way to the end to see if you've written it down correctly. One last thing before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Mrs. Rising students at Dan River Middle School in Chatham, Virginia. Thanks so much for being here today, you guys. I hope you love this story.
Hi, my name is Amanda Zieba. Welcome to my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd, and another First Chapter Friday video. This week we're going to be reading from The Explorer by Katherine Rundell, and you guys, I am obsessed with this book. I just finished it, and it might be my favorite one that I've read all summer. First of all, I was pulled in by the cover. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but I mean, we all do. And this one is incredible. I love the layered looks of the jungle, and it feels like every time I look, there's like a new thing that I didn't notice. And the color scheme is just so great. I was so inspired by this story that I have all these ideas for additional resources connected to it. So after you listen to the first chapter and become obsessed with the story as well, make sure you check down in the video description box for links, because I'm sure that this video isn't going to be the only thing I create surrounding this book. I was a social studies minor, and so books about adventure and places and things that feel like Indiana Jones are just always my favorite. And so let me read you the inside cover. That's where we find the blurb, the summary on a hardcover book, and then I will dive into chapter 1. From his seat in the tiny airplane, Fred watches the mysteries of the Amazon jungle pass by below him. He has always dreamed of becoming an explorer, of reading his name among the lists of great adventurers. If only he could land and look about him. As the plane smashes into the canopy, Fred is suddenly left without a choice. He and 3 other children may be alive, but the jungle is a vast, untamed place. With no hope of rescue, the chance of getting home feels terrifyingly small. Except, it seems, someone has been there before them. One of the things I loved about this book, in addition to the setting and all the great descriptions of the landscape and the suspense of survival, is also that the author, Katherine Rundell, is just an incredible writer. And the way that she describes things just feels new and fresh and just really great. So my whole book is filled with things that I've underlined. And so you won't be able to see those, but maybe keep your ears peeled for those. It's a very short chapter, just 3 pages, but I promise you it will be enough to suck you in. So let us read the first chapter of The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. Chapter 1 is called Flight. Like a man-made magic wish, the airplane began to rise. The boy sitting in the cockpit gripped his seat and held his breath as the plane roared and climbed into the arms of the sky. Fred's jaw was set with concentration, and his fingers followed the movements of the pilot beside him. Fuel gauge, throttle, joystick. The airplane vibrated as it flew faster, following the swerve of the Amazon River below them. Fred could see the reflection of the 6-seater plane, a spot of black on the vast sweep of blue as it sped toward Manaus, the city on the water. He brushed his hair out of his eyes and pressed his forehead against the window. Behind Fred sat a girl and her little brother. They had the same slanted eyebrows and the same brown skin, the same long eyelashes. The girl had been shy, hugging her parents until the last possible moment at the airfield. Now she was staring down at the water, singing under her breath. Her brother was trying to eat his seatbelt. In the next row, on her own, sat a pale girl with blonde hair down to her waist. Her blouse had a neck ruffle that came up to her chin, and she kept tugging it down and grimacing. She was determinedly not looking out the window. The airfield they had just left had been dusty and almost deserted, just a strip of tarmac under the ferocious Brazilian sun. Fred's cousin had insisted that he wear his school uniform, and now inside the hot airless cabin, Fred felt like he was being gently cooked inside his own skin. The engine gave a whine, and the pilot frowned and tapped the joystick. He was old and soldierly, with brisk nostril hair and a gray waxed mustache that seemed to reject the usual laws of gravity. He touched the throttle, and the plane soared upward higher into the clouds. It was almost dark when Fred first began to worry. The pilot began to belch, first quietly, then violently and repeatedly. His hand gave a sudden jerk, and the plane dipped drunkenly to the left. Someone screamed behind Fred. The plane lurched away from the river and over the canopy. Fred stared at the man. He was turning the same shade of gray as his mustache. "Are you all right, sir?" Fred asked. The pilot grunted, gasped, and wound back the throttle, slowing the engine. He gave a cough that sounded like a choke. "Is there something I can do?" Fred asked. Fighting for breath, the pilot shook his head. He reached over to the control panel and cut the engine. The roar ceased. The nose of the plane dipped downward. The trees rose up. "What's happening?" asked the blonde girl sharply. "What's he doing? Make him stop!" The little boy in the back began to shriek. The pilot grasped Fred's wrist hard for a single moment. Then his head slumped against the dashboard. And the sky, which had seconds before seemed so reliable, gave way. That's the end of the first chapter, you guys. That's it. Like, they leave us completely on a cliffhanger in suspense. You know as soon as you turn the page that their plane has crashed in the jungle. Shortly after that, you learn that the pilot didn't make it, and these 4 kids are on their own in the jungle, forced to survive. What they do next, what they do for the next number of chapters is an incredible adventure, and I know you're going to love it. So pick up a copy of The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. It was published in 2017. I can't believe I hadn't heard of it until now. So it's likely that it's in your school library. Otherwise, ask at your favorite local indie bookstore. Or as always, I will put the Amazon link down in the video description box for you below. Thank you so much for joining me for this super short First Chapter Friday. I hope I'll see you again next time, and happy reading.
To continue reading The Explorer by Katherine Rundell, pick up a copy from your school library, purchase one from your favorite local indie bookstore, or grab it via the link in the video description box. Also down there in the video description box, I've got a link for this video, a new one for my channel called Read in the Jungle with Me. It's a reading ambiance video that matches scenes and music to the mood and theme and location of this story. It also doubles as a reading timer. It's 15 minutes long, so set it, forget it, enjoy your story, and feel like you're really reading in the jungle right alongside the characters. I hope you love it. This week's mystery quote says, "You never know when you might meet an adventure." Thanks so much for visiting my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. I hope you check out the rest of the First Chapter Friday playlist. I've got more than 200 First Chapter Fridays ready and waiting for you. Please like this video and subscribe, and I hope to see you again next time. Happy reading, my friends.